Test 74, game 4. We got a photography business assigning at least 2 photographers to each of 2 graduation ceremonies, one at Silva, one at Thorn. 6 photographers available, F, G, H, K, L, M. But not all of them have to be assigned. That's important. No photographer can be assigned to both ceremonies. Following constraints apply. F must be assigned together with H at one of the graduation ceremonies. And I would make worlds based on that rule every single time, because F and H can't be out. They must be in, and they can only go together to one or the other ceremony. So it's a very clear split in the road. And I think I would start this game 10 times out of 10 just saying Silva and Thorn, F and H, F and H. I really can't imagine starting the game any other way. If L and M are assigned, they must be to different ceremonies. So they hate each other, but they could be out. So I'm going to just leave them for a minute. If GS, then LT, that's a conditional rule. I totally could split these 2 worlds based on GS. 4th rule says, if K is not in T, then both H and M have to be in T. But over here, H is not in T. So the first move I'm going to make here, capitalizing on my 2 worlds, the world where H and F are assigned to Silva, K has to go to T. Because if K were not in T, then H would have to go in T, but it's not. Over here, I don't know where K goes. I'm going to just incorporate that rule by splitting this world. I'm going to make a world where K is in T and a world where K is not in T. The last rule says if K is not in T, then both H and M have to be there. And that's a full application of that rule. That rule can't touch me anymore. This world, again, H was already not in Thorn, which meant K had to be in Thorn, at which point I don't care about the rule anymore. Over here, I made K in T, which means the rule doesn't apply. And then here I made K not in T, which forces both H and M to be there. So the first rule's done, the last rule's done. I have to have at least 2 photographers. Interesting. Okay, so I have to fill a spot here. I have to fill 2 spots here, and I have to fill 2 spots here. L and M hate each other. Okay, so L can't be assigned right there. If GS, then LT. Okay, that takes effect here. Watch what happens here. If G were in S, then L would have to be in T, but L can't be in T because M's already there. So in this world, G can't be in S. If G can't be in S, and H, M, and F are already not in S, then everybody else has to be in S. And so that's K and L both. The only flexibility left in this world is whether G is in Thorn or not. G is definitely not in Silva, but G could be, maybe I'll put G question mark, could be in Thorn. Let me think about this world. If GS, then LT. If not GS, then I would be only left with L and M here. So look at what I'm doing. I got multiple rules in my head at the same time. I've got the LM rule and the GS LT rule. but I'm looking at these two blank spaces. I've only got G, S, and L. It can't be L and M together. Sorry, not S and L. G, M, and L. I've got G, M, and L for these two spots, but it can't be L and M. So it has to be G, which forces L over here, which forces M back here because I have to have two spots there. So this world is complete. This world's almost complete. I just don't know whether G's in Thorn. This world is totally completed. This world, I do have some flexibility. I'm going to split this based on whether I have GS. I'm going to split this based on whether I do have GS or don't have GS. When I do have GS, I have to have LT, which means M can't go there anymore, which means the only flexibility left is whether M goes in Silva or not. When I don't have GS, then I don't care about that rule. I've got this spot here, could be G, I'll put G/L/M. I need one of them for sure, and then I could have multiples there. I could have G and L or G and M. This game has surprisingly little flexibility to it. You can ask questions if you like.
Yeah, I was about to ask why L is with T in the second world.
Here?
Yeah.
Because GS.
So you have to put G and S.
I had to, yeah, because I was left with G, L, and M. But L and M hate each other, and I need to have two players here. And so it can't be LM, so G has to be there, which then forces L over there, which then forces M to take that one remaining spot in the Silva group.
And also in that row at the bottom, the H,
Here?
H and F and N, yeah, that row, are they all floaters now? The G, L, and M.
Except for L and M can't be together. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. Let me see if I can answer the questions. Number 17 is just a list question. So F and H have to be together at one of the ceremonies. That gets rid of B. L and M can't be together. Gets rid of C. If GS LT gets rid of A. If K not T, then both H and M have to be there, which gets rid of D. So the answer for number 17 by process of elimination can only be E. Number 18 says, what happens when H is with L? Well, that didn't happen here. It could happen here. It did happen here. It can't happen here. Okay, so H can be with L like this, or H can be with L here. Which one of the following must be true in both of those? KT. That's the answer. 18D. There, I just looked for a similarity between the two worlds, right? I knew it was possible to put H with L here and here. And so I glanced at those two. What do they have in common? KT in both of those turns out to be the answer. 18D. Skipping ahead to the if questions, number 21. If exactly 4 of the photographers are assigned, well, here I've got at least 5 assigned. Here I've got all 6 assigned. Here I've got at least 5 assigned. So in order to assign just 4 photographers, this is the only world where that possibly happened. So who has to go to Silva? Both H and F. Only one of them is listed, so the answer for 21 is A. That's all the if questions. Back to 19. Which one of the following could be a complete assignment of photographers to the Silva ceremony? F, G, H, K. Here you can have F, G, and H, but not K. Same thing here, F and G. Yeah, no, not G though. Here you don't have F or H. There you don't have F or H. Nah, that just doesn't work. How about just F, G, and H? Oh, right here. I've got that. F, G, and H. Don't need M. That would be a complete ceremony, or a complete list of the photographers going to the ceremony. Number 19, B, F, G, H. Number 20, which one of the following is a complete and accurate list of all the photographers who must be assigned? That's a tricky question. That might be the hardest question in the section. F and H, I know, always have to be assigned, but they're listed in all 5 of the answer choices, so that doesn't help us. Is there anyone else who always has to be assigned? I'm looking at this world right here, you know? In this world, the only one other than F and H who has to be assigned is K. And then looking at my other templates, yeah, K is assigned, K is assigned, K is assigned. So K has to be part of the correct answer. And that's going to be the entire correct answer, H, F, and K, because in this world, it could just be G or L or M, which means G, L, and M can all be out. But H, F, and K are always in all of my templates. So H, F, K is going to be the answer. Number 20, B.
So if, like I didn't get to that point in worlds, like meaning all the worlds, I guess I should have, I just didn't. There's really no other way to figure out that question if you weren't able to.
I was about to say it if you wouldn't have brought it up. Yeah, I was just thinking like, man, I don't know how I would answer that question. You would have to try to leave them out, basically, right? So you know H and F are not, like, you don't worry about them because you know that they're part of the correct answer, right? But you would just have to test, like, can I leave out K? And you would realize that if you leave out K, you're going to break the game. And then it would be like, can I leave out G? Yes, I can. Can I leave out L? Yes, I can. Can I leave out M? Yes, I can. You'd have to do a bunch of testing. Or possibly use your other diagrams that you made for the if questions. If you had made some diagrams where you realized like, oh, I can easily leave L out, then you would just like not even worry about that one.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yep. Number 22, which one cannot be a complete assignment of photographers to Thorn? I don't know. FGHM. That would have worked right here. FGHM, that works. So that's not the answer. FHKM? That doesn't happen here. FHKM doesn't happen here. Doesn't happen here or here. So FHKM. The FH Thorn worlds are over here, right? The correct answer, if it's going to include F and H, has to be here or here. So FHKM doesn't happen here or here, so that's the answer. 23 is a rule substitution question. We're going to substitute for if K is not in Thorn, both H and M have to be. And we want something that does no more and no less than that rule. It'll have the exact same effect. You can do this question with a 2-part process of elimination, where if the rule creates a new restriction that was not true in the starting setup, then it's out because it's extra. It does something different, something new and different. That's one way to eliminate a wrong answer. And another way to eliminate a wrong answer is to get rid of the ones that do less than the old rule. So in other words, something that would fail to replicate the effect of if K is not in Thorn, then both H and M have to be. So let's just see. We're going to have to go through the answer choices one at a time. A, if K is at Silva, then H and M are not.
It's too weak.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I was trying to do the first step, which was, does it do anything extra? And I don't think it does, because anytime K's in Silva, that, by the way, only happens here. When K's in Silva, H and M are not there. The problem is, if that were the rule, then you could still have K not be in Thorn, and it wouldn't force H and M into Thorn, because they could like be out. So A doesn't do enough, so A is out. This is an exceptionally hard question. They should only ever put this question type as number 23. When they make this question be like number 12, if it's the last question in the second game, or if it's the last question in the third game, you might consider just skipping it and going on and doing a whole other game instead of doing this one question. But here, I can't get mad when they make it number 23, because it's like, well, yeah, if you've already got 22 points, then this is just a bonus point, and they buried it at the end of the section. That makes sense. But yeah, A is not going to do enough. B, if KS, sorry?
I have a question.
Yeah?
For this one, I was able to predict the answer. Is that something you recommend trying to do?
If you can, yeah. Yeah, talk to me about how you predicted it.
I just knew that if you were replacing the rule about H and M having to be assigned together, H and F have to be assigned together anyway based off of the rules. So it would make sense that equal substitution would be to make M and F have to be together.
Because H and F always go together, a good way to substitute for a rule involving H would be to mention F, because F has the same effect. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I see now that C says, unless K is in Thorn, which means if K is not in Thorn. Unless means if not. So the rule we were trying to substitute for was, if K is not in Thorn, then, and that's what C starts off with. Unless K is in Thorn, then, right? And then if it trades off H for F, which it does, instead of H and M, we get F and M, which has the same effect since F and H are always together. So that's very good, Tatiana. That is a correct way of answering this question. If not, you're going to have to do it by process of elimination. But now I can see that C is the same rule, just using slightly different, they exchanged unless for if not, and they exchanged F for H, but otherwise it's the exact same rule. And that's the answer. Cool, I'm happy leaving it there.
Something that you're usually able to do with these sort of questions though, because,
50%, I would say. I would say 50% of the time you're going to be able to predict the answer. It's great when you can. There are easy versions of this question type where, like I'll give you just a quick example. If it's like, let's say the rule is like X before Y and Y and Z have to touch. And you can combine those like this, X before Y and Z touching. And they say, find a new rule that has the same effect as X before Y. You could predict X before Z. Because Y and Z touch, so X before Y and X before Z have the same effect as long as Y and Z have to touch. And so there, the rule substitution, you could make that prediction. And they have had exactly that pattern before on a rule substitution question. And it's real predictable. So you did a lot harder version of that here by predicting the answer for 23.
Okay.
Ethan.
Yeah.
So you would recommend